Hi everyone, I'm Dori from Purple Petal Studio, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint some Rose of Sharon on any surface you want to paint on. did one on a scrap piece of wood. I also did one on an old cardboard box. This was an old Saks box. I just scruffied the background. I gave it a different color. And I found an old Godiva box that I'm going to be using today. I thought that would look nice on the gold. Okay, so whatever you have hanging around, you can experiment on. And the colors we're going to be using today are just 4 colors. I have Thicket, Fresh Foliage, Wicker White, and an Americana Red, but you can use any red, any brand. I use the Folk Art mainly because it's a little thicker, it's an acrylic paint and it's a little thicker. Okay, so let's get started. Also, number 12 brush, flat brush, a liner brush, and then if you have something pointy like a stick or if you have a stylus, so that we can use to dot at the end. So what we're going to start with is some fresh foliage or any 2 greens. If you have a dark green and a light green, you're fine. It doesn't have to exactly be these colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wet my brush a little bit, and then I'm going to just blot it dry, just so that it's a little loose, my bristles. And I'm going to double load. So I'm going to go half in, a corner in the dark green, corner in the light green, and I'm going to go very hard back and forth, trying to keep my colors separate, and I keep my handle straight up. And we're going to start with some leaves. So what we're going to do is make a couple of these leaves, and they're pretty simple to do. So all you're going to do, I'm going to do it maybe like an L shape on this. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold your brush straight, you're going to push it, lean it, and then lift it. Come back, fix your brush, and then come back on the same, right next to the light green. Press it down, turn it, and lift it. And you get a nice leaf that way. So make sure when you're doing it, you don't turn the brush so that the 2 greens meet. You want to have them exactly, you know, dark green, light green, then dark green, light green. And maybe I'll do another one here, and then I'll do another one here. Press down, kind of lean it and pull it up. Maybe I'll do another one here. And this way I'll have a flower here, maybe a bud here, and maybe I'll get a leaf here. I'll fix this one. You could always go over it if you don't like what it looks like. And maybe I'll get one over here. And maybe one more over here. Could always add some in later on too. So maybe I'll put one here, and maybe a bud over there. So maybe I'll even do another leaf. Right, and there's my leaves. And you can see the gold through it because I have the gold box. So it looks kind of nice. I'm going to wash out my brush. And we're going to use the same number 12 brush for the flowers. Now you do want this to dry a little bit. But I'm not going to wait because I want to finish this video. So I'm going to grab a little white. And I already have green on there. I'm going to be using that fresh foliage green with white. So I cleaned my brush. I made sure that it stays nice and, you know, flat like that. And I'm going to grab a lot of the white on one corner and a little bit of that green on the other side. And we're going to go back and forth. And I'm going to do it again. White, a little bit of green. Keep my handle straight. Keep the colors somewhat together. All right, and then we're going to start on, maybe I'll start on a big flower right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to almost make like a V for a petal. You're going to start on one side, line your brush up on the V, and then you're going to end up on the other side of the V. So I'm going to line it up. I'm going to push it, give it a wiggle, come up, give it another wiggle. And notice the light green goes right back down to where I started from, and then I'm going to start pivoting my brush a little so I can end up on the other side of that V. And there you have one petal. And you're going to continue to go around. So here's another one. Here I could even make a V. After a while you won't have to make a V. But in the time being, see how I'm just going to wiggle it and end up on the other side. So let's do another one. You could keep flipping your box around and make sure the light green goes right into that center. Okay. And I'm just wiggling it around. I'm using my wrists. I'm going to come see the light green touches the center. And I'm going to wiggle it down. And there you have a flower. And now I'm going to make another flower. So we have one there. Maybe I'll make another one. Now when you're going to overlap a flower, it's really a good idea to start on the other flower, because if you start on up above, you never know. Sometimes you go too far in that flower. So I'm going to go right here maybe, and I'm going to do a petal. Come back, fix your brush. Come back. And I'm just going to keep going around, going right over my leaves. And the last petal. Right, and I'm going to go over this one more time because I didn't like how that ended. There we go. So now I have the two flowers on there. Now I'm going to come and maybe do that little, like it's like a half flower. And what I'm going to do, what you want to think of when you're doing that is, it's almost like it's right half of the flower. So maybe I'll go like this. You can put even a line there if you want, just so you know. And look, I'm going to start on that line and give it another petal coming around. Give it another petal coming around right on that line. And I'm not going to go past that line. See, so there's my half. Now you may want to let it dry a little before you do the second layer, but I am going to just go right into it. And when you're going on the second layer, you're going to come right back where you started. You're going to pull it out a little and then just go a little smaller than what you, like don't do the same length of the petal. You want to go a little less so it looks like that it's just open. All right, and there we go. There's our flowers. I am going to go over that one a little, that one petal, because it's a little light. All right, and there you go. You can go over whichever ones you want, but this looks pretty good to me. I think it looks pretty nice. Maybe I'm going to go over this one too, so that the petal is on the outside. Okay. And once you get that in, you're going to go to your liner brush, wet it a little, come back, roll some white, and what I'm doing is I'm rolling the brush. Rolling inside the paint and roll it out. So I don't have a glob on there. And what I want to do is go around some of the petals, just to kind of outline some of them. Just that crease that goes in there. See how I'm just going to go right in there. Right? And it just kind of defines them a little bit more. So I'll go here. Maybe over here. You don't have to do all of them, just some of them. So they look like they're popping out a little bit. And I just stuck my hand in that, but that's okay. Do another one here, another one here, and I think that's good. Maybe I'll do a little wiggle there. I'll even go around here, look. I'll do that wiggle around there. Especially that my paint was still really wet when I did this. All right, and there we go. Now to do the inside, you're going to rinse your brush out. And what you want to do is go back with that flat brush. And I'm going to use the dark green and the light green again. Work it in. Same way you were doing before, double loading it, half and half. And this one, I want to be able to put a little stem on it. So I'm going to pull it up. And then I'm going to come back on there and pull it down. Give it like little, almost like little commas, right? Just to bring that in there. You can make as many of them as you want, right? And then if you want to add any more leaves, you can, which I'm going to do. I think it needs another one over here, and then maybe another one here. We'll put a little stem in that one. And I think that looks good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back with our liner brush, and we're going to grab some of this red. This is a pretty dark red, but any kind of dark red will do. I just happen to have this on hand. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll my brush inside the paint and pull it out. And then I'm going to go into the center of the flower and pull out little, and really you should let your flower dry, but I'm not letting my flower dry because otherwise really you would get pink with the pink and the white coming through. But I'm just going to go through it so we can get this video on. All right, and see how I'm just pulling out? I go from the center of the flower, pull it out. Keep the handle straight. If you don't keep the handle straight, you're not going to get a point at the end. I'm rolling it out. Roll that paint out. Really important to keep your brush handle straight, because if you go this way, you're going to get a big blob at the end. You won't get that nice little tip at the end. Roll it. You get a bunch of these little centers in. And now for the half one, I'm just going to do a little bit peeking out. So I'm going to figure that this is the center right here. And just put a few there like that. Bloop, 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 bloop. Right? There you go. Now I'm going to rinse my brush, because you never want to leave your liner brushes in the water. Set it on the side, and I'm going to take my stylus, or like I said, if you have a stick with a point on it, that works too. And really you want to let this dry. But once again, I'm not going to. I'm going to grab some white, and I'm going to go in the center, make a dot, and pull out some of these dots to form like a cone. So it's fat in the middle, and then it comes to like a point. And I'm going to do this one too. Oop. Just stuck my hand in there, so we'll just give it a whip. I'll go in here and think of which direction you want your flowers to face. So this one I'm going to have going the opposite way with the center. I think I need a little bit more white. Grab some white and go dip, 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 dip. And the same thing here. I'm going to go dip, 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 dip. Maybe right outside there. Bip, bip. Right? And then I'm going to grab some green. I'm going to grab some of that darker green, that thicker green. And I'm going to go right back in the dots and grab some green dots against the white. So you'll see some white, some green. And I'll do the same thing here. If you wanted, you could put a little yellow. Yellow would look nice in the center too with some green. And I'm keeping it simple. And so here I'm going to grab a little bit of this green coming out. And there you go. You want to get your liner brush. You want to grab whatever color. I'm going to use some dark green and just give your initial or your name or your date. And there you go. Happy painting, everybody.